Hey everybody, Tanya here. Just wanted to do a really quick video, maybe a few minutes long anyway. Take these off so you don't see that little purple dot. Anyway, I wanted to just get on here for a bit and kind of talk to you a little bit about, not necessarily about my week, but maybe where my brain has been this week, and maybe even share with you some things that I went through mentally to kind of help you maybe with some tools, some tips to help you get your brain back on track. I'm sure, as many of you know, the mind, our brain, can be our greatest friend, but it can also be our worst enemy. And I've said many times to a lot of my challengers, or a lot of my friends, the body is going to go where the mind follows. So if your brain is saying, let's go sit on the couch, that's where your body's going to follow. So this isn't necessarily about fitness, though. This is just about mindset and attitude. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how this week has gone for me. Maybe not the details of how or why or whatever, but then also how I kind of pulled myself up. So I've talked to a lot of people, and I part of my business in health and fitness is reaching out to new people. So I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. And we a lot of times will get into conversations about maybe why someone hasn't started fitness or started working on their health, or what might be the cause. And a lot of times people talk about how they might battle lack of motivation, they might battle depression, negative self-talk, negative thoughts, a negative mindset, and that can be a really vicious downward spiral. And I know I can certainly say that for myself. Now, I'll be honest, I don't necessarily battle depression. There are certainly times where, I feel bummed out, but not true serious depression. A lot of times what I go through is this negative self-talk, self-doubting, the negative thought, sometimes a lack of confidence, and, just that, sometimes I'll be honest, just that general, piss poor attitude, kind of a pity party. That's where I go, which I hate. I hate feeling that way. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you that might be able to relate, feel the same way. And sometimes it's such a vicious downward spiral that it's hard to get out of. And I used to tell people that I'm just pessimistic by nature, and it probably still is true. But I think I was pessimistic right off the bat, because I just always had a negative attitude, a negative mindset. I would project positivity towards and about other people. But when it came to me, regardless of whether it was weight or whether it was academic performance or whether it was looks or whatever, I projected this front of confidence, but it was pretty shallow. If you would have tried to tap or dig in too deep, you would have cracked and seen that it was really a facade. And so I will say that through coaching, it's really forced me into more personal development. Now, again, this isn't necessarily a plug for coaching, although I still think it's wonderful, but this is a plug for personal development, and I don't necessarily mean the self-help books or whatever. If that's something that you do, that's great. And if that works for you, that's awesome. But this is more about, training your mind, treating it like any other muscle, in order to, see muscle flex or definition, or to train strength or build flexibility, you have to train your body to do that. If you want to be able to run long distances, you have to train your body to do that. So the brain is the same way. If you want it to be positive, if you want it to go to a positive place right off the bat, or be able to bounce back, and you might have a negative moment, but then you go, nope, that's not what's happening here, and bounce right back into, we're gonna do this, I can do this, or whatever. You have to train that muscle too. Your brain is like any other muscle that you need to train to get to a certain way, and you do that through personal development. That could be reading books, that could be writing out your goals, that could be YouTube videos, motivational videos, podcasts. Now, I will say for me, I do all of those. Sometimes my negativity and my negative nature, negative mindset is so bad that I really have to hammer away at it So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of this week and what I've done to get myself back on track. Because at the beginning of this week, I was not feeling it. Not at all. Like, things at work have been crazy because we're getting ready for a big event. And so that was taking up a lot of my mental capacity and a lot of my energy. I was still doing my workouts, still eating well. But, you know, even in my coaching business, I'd come home and I kind of forced myself to make sure I reached out to new people, make sure I was checking in on my current challengers. But I'll be honest, some of it was a little half-assed. Like, my heart and soul weren't really into it because my brain was somewhere out in negativity land. And, you know, I talked to Gary a couple of times throughout the week, like, oh, just all of this shit is just happening. And I am struggling this week. I really am. And so the first thing that I want to share with you is, this is called the Freedom Journal. And it's accomplish your goal in 100 days. Now, the important thing here isn't necessarily about chasing after your goals, but every day, the biggest thing here is the habits. So this forces me to write down a reflection every day. What went well? What didn't go well? How can I change that? And what is my goal? What will I be in, you know, I think now I'm at like 25 days left to go or something like that. So first of all, reflection every day, forcing myself to think about what is some positive things that happened to me today, you know, and I did struggle. How can I adjust? How can I make that better? So that's the first thing. And then I would create that action plan. And so a few days in the week is, what's your focus for today? Personal development. What are you thankful for today? Personal development, because that's what's going to get me out of this sort of self-pity party, you know, kind of pit. So I do a lot of, I can't say I do a lot of reading because I just don't have a lot of time to sit and read stuff. But there are a couple of books. One I'm reading more for my own nutritional knowledge, and that's The Wild Diet. And then the other one that I'm reading to learn more about how to work with different types of people, Personality Plus. Now, I've taken a pause a little bit from this because I need to focus more on kind of re-strengthening my mind. And so then I switch my strategy for what I'm taking in based on what I need. So I might read or listen to, I also do audiobooks. So I might listen to something like It Starts With Why by Simon Sinek, or Failing Forward by John Maxwell. You know, knowing that it's all about your passion, what you love to do, you know, you lead with that foot. And if, okay, sorry about that. I always have internet problems out here. I live out in the boonies, so it happens. But if or when, I guess I really should say, when you put that foot forward and when you fail, because it's going to happen, it's okay. You just figured out another way to move on and not do something in a certain way. So I change my personal development, even if I'm in the middle of the book. I've been working on this book for a while now because sometimes I have to go back to something else I need more. So, and then every morning I start my day with a YouTube video, a motivational YouTube video. And it could be to get me in the mood to work out, but it could be just to set the tone of the day, you know, whatever. But I have a reminder in my phone that goes off at 5 a.m. So that way when my alarm goes off at 5:15 a.m., the first thing I see is make sure you do your, you know, YouTube video. And so I start my day with some kind of positive messaging. Most days it works pretty well. I will admit, though, there have been days where it doesn't. It's not enough. Or I, you know, like maybe I skip it, you know, and then that's when kind of leads to that slippery slope. So, and then the other thing is I listen to a lot of podcasts. So, you know, like Dave Ramsey to do finance, knowledge, and motivation. The School of Greatness is a new one I picked up. And then ones on business and stuff on tips, motivation, inspiration, things like that, guidance. And so I listen to that probably more than even music anymore. It's kind of crazy because I used to listen to really only music. And then I even have a notebook of personal development, like when I do trainings, when I listen to webinars, notes, quotes, things I want to keep in mind that I want to share with others. And then I also have a success partner. And so when we get to chat, sometimes that helps me bounce ideas off and think of different things in a different way. So sometimes maybe that's something you need, is an accountability partner, you know, not necessarily for fitness, but to just check in on each other. My partner and I, we text almost every day, and then we have weekly calls. where we just kind of talk about the week and goals and stuff like that. So it's not easy to train the mind. And as you can see, even this week, I struggled even with doing all of those things. But without spending too much time in my pity party and without having to, like, you know, pull in a ton of people about how shitty life is going or whatever. You know, I bounced some ideas off of Gary. You know, I talked it out a little bit with my success partner tonight, but by then I was already feeling good. Like when I woke up, when I went to bed last night, I was starting to feel better. When I woke up today, I was like, you know what? I can't change anything that happened in May or anything that happened this last week. All I can do is bless and release and move forward and focus on June and the rest of June, my challenge group, getting ready for July, all this stuff that's coming up. So I feel good today. And I could not say that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of this week. So that's really why I wanted to share this with you, because personal development has been a life and brain saver. And, you know, I got to say, I really started getting serious and dedicated to this last fall. For those of you who are friends or family or have been following me long enough, last fall you saw that Gary and I went through like months straight of medical issues with him, like kidney stones, in and out of the hospital, procedures, and that, talk about a toll. If I could have got, if I've been close to depression, it was then. I was in such a funk that I was like, maybe I shouldn't be coaching anymore. Maybe I should just focus on work. Maybe I shouldn't do this or that. And that's when I was, you know, okay, I need to change my train of thought. And so now I try to work as hard on my brain as I do on my body. So I hope that you realize that now, aside from like seriously diagnosed depression, which sometimes requires more medical intervention, I hope that if you're just in a negative mindset, that there are ways to get out, you know, and if you need help with just the motivation to get started on that, please let me know, because I know that that can be the hardest thing. It took some other coaches to kind of guide the way and tell me how they did it, you know, and successful, you know, people that are earning a lot in the business, or, you know, whenever I feel like I'm not doing such a great job as a coach, it's kind of comforting to know that they're still human, they still struggle. So I try to project a lot of positivity on my Facebook page and my fitness page, and I appreciate you that recognize that. But I want to be real with you and let you know that, yes, I still struggle mentally, physically, emotionally, and I just don't choose to put a lot of negativity on my page. But I want you to be real, or see that I'm real, and I struggle, and these are the ways that I try to help myself, and even surround myself with people who can help me when I need it. So I hope some of these tips helped. If you do need that support, though, like I said, please reach out to me. Don't feel like you can't, or that you have to spend however long or forever in this downward spiral. You know, I was the queen of pessimism and negativity. You can ask Gary. And so if I have the ability to sometimes bounce back, even by myself, and sometimes with the help of others, then know that you can too. Sometimes it just takes a hand extended to you like that. So, all right, folks, it's Friday night, and I want to end this week on a great note. And so stay tuned tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon maybe. I will be doing my weekly team shoutouts, so you get to hear more about all the great things that some of the folks on Team Hustle to Muscle Fitness are doing, and get to spend some time celebrating people. So have a great Friday night. If you're going out with folks, like I'm going to meet up with friends later, then have a great night. Be safe, make smart choices, and have a healthy, happy day. Bye.